Hello and welcome to this pattern recognition video. So today's video will have 5 puzzles for expert players rated 2000 to 2200. And if these are too difficult for you or too easy, I plan to do one day of beginner, then intermediate, then the next day advanced, then expert. And I haven't gotten any requests lately for more difficult problems, but let me know if you want me to have a day of master level puzzles that are 2200 or higher. But for today, let's start here. We have the first of 5 puzzles. A pawn has just pushed forward here, attacking our bishop. So what should we do? Should we retreat, or do we have something better? Now, if we look at the material, it looks like 8 pawns versus 8, 4 minor pieces, queen and 2 rooks. So no pieces have left the board yet. And you'll see that often, as the games are more advanced and at a higher level, opponents tend not to just exchange pieces off as much as they do with beginner and intermediate players. So what do we do here? If we don't want to retreat our bishop, do we have a good counterattack? So if we look at checks first, the only checks I see are knight captures knight, and then their knight could just recapture, or the queen could capture, and I don't see much of a follow-up after that. The other check is the bishop, but the king could just capture. And then we could have a capture here with check. So maybe this is best. We just check with the knight, capturing a pawn. So we go ahead in material. The king is under attack. And probably the king would step forward, attacking the knight. And then I'm thinking that would force us to move here, attacking the queen, and we gain another pawn. So then the queen would probably just move over here and attack our knight. So then we have to worry about our bishop that's still under attack. But at this point, looks like we could take the other pawn and be protected by our bishop. All right, so I know that's a lot. Try and calculate as much as you can in your head. Pause the video if you need more time. And remember, with pattern recognition, you want to do a set of puzzles like these 5 today, or whatever you choose, and then go over them nice and slow once, then go over them again faster the second time. And that way, as you go over them multiple times, you'll start to remember the patterns more that you see, and hopefully you can use them in your own games. All right, let's go with this attack. All right, and then I'm thinking we should attack the queen. And then now I think we can just grab this other pawn, I believe, that's attacking our bishop. Unless there's something better that I'm missing. And if we look at checks first. No, probably should just go ahead and take. If we take here, the knight takes, our bishop will take. If they take our bishop over here, our queen is covering that. So let's just go there. All right, so that's what they wanted. And that was rated 2170. So let's move on to the next one. We've gained, 3 pawns out of that? So leaving their king wide open here. Okay, on to problem number 2. Our rook was checking the opponent's king, and they dropped back with their rook to block. If if we look at material, we have 2 pawns. Our opponent has 2 pawns. We have the bishop pair. They have knight and bishop. Then we have queen and rook. All right, if we want to look at checks first, what do we have? Well, the queen could capture, but then the king would just recapture. Now also we have a rook can possibly take. So maybe we do that with check. And if their bishop or queen captures, we'll be able to take their knight and then guard our bishop here as well. Oh, one thing we do have to watch out for, though, if we do that, if our queen ends up here, we have to be careful there won't be a pin to the king in the future. So, capture. All right, if we capture, what can our opponent do about that? If the king recaptures, oh, well then we just force the trade here by capturing their knight with a check, and the queen would be forced to capture. Okay, so capture. Oh, probably the bishop would capture because no, the bishop is not able to capture because it's pinned. So I think that works. We capture, the queen would be forced to capture. Then we take the knight. All right, let's do it. Pause if you need more time and want to think about it, but if not, here we go. Take. Now we can just grab that, and we're just ahead by a bishop at this point. So, hopefully we can turn that into a win. All right, on to problem number 3. Queen has just captured what, a pawn here. Okay. All right. Well, if we look at material quickly, we have 4 pawns. Our opponent has 5, so we're down by a pawn. And we're down by a rook as well. So we need to do something immediately. Well, if we look at checks first, what do we have? Well, we have this rook. We probably don't want to go there, or we'll just be captured by their rook. Or king, I guess. So probably better would be to check with this bishop. Now, if the king moved here, we'd be able to move our queen in and then mate on A8. So if we go here, the king's probably going to go there. Now, then we'll have a discovered attack possible. We just have to figure out what's the best way to go. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe that what I mentioned previously, does that work? Yes, I guess it does. If we go here and they go here, we deliver a check, well, then they can only go back here, and then we deliver a mate there. So if we go here, the opponent is going to move to B8. And then Probably best. Is it best to go this way with the discovered attack? Now that could be blocked, so that's not so great. They could block our discovered attack. All right. Okay, well, we need to do something, and I'm thinking that's the best move, but then once the king goes here, what do we do next? Maybe then we bring our bishop or our queen up. All right, this one's a little bit tougher. So we check, king moves here. Now, do we bring our queen up immediately to here, threatening a mate on the next move? They could block with their queen. Then we move our bishop here with a discovered attack. So I think that works. So check. Now we bring the queen up. Threatening mate in one. Oh, they don't like that. Okay. Do we have something more immediate? Well, probably want to go there. Okay. Now do we bring the queen up? Threatening a mate here. Or if we go there, queen takes, then we move here with our queen threatening mate. All right. If we go up here immediately, then what? If they block, then we just take. Or do we just take? If we go there, queen takes, then we move up here. There's no way to stop. Oh, actually, no, the king can't even run, so... Oh, that's interesting, but at least we get the queen out of it. Okay. All right, that was rated 2120, so I hope you did well on that one. Let's move on to problem number 4. Okay, black has just what? Moved their rook to defend this pawn. We have 3 pawns versus 5 and only a bishop versus their rook. Okay. Well, we don't want to check with our queen here or the rook will just capture. What if we go there? the opponent could block. Then we move here and check. Something like that. We have to watch out for, does that do anything? At the moment, we would just capture. So, I don't know, an obvious move would be to just go there and threaten a mate in one. If the king tries to run, well, then I guess we could move up here, pick off the rook. So if we go here, they may block. Then we check. And if they run here, we could bring our bishop up, checking again, and I believe that would be mate. So there we go. Now we can just pick off this rook by going here if we want to. All right. So if we go there, king is forced to move here. We pick off the rook. Is that enough? Because then they could pick off this pawn here and have 3 passed pawns, but their king is really out in the open. All right, is there anything better? Am I missing anything? I don't know. That's probably the best thing to do. Check, grab the rook. The king will be out in the open. We're threatening to take this with check next. All right, I guess that's all they wanted. Maybe I was overthinking things, but now we're threatening to take this with check. The king is really out in the open. We have this extra bishop. So hopefully we can combine the two and start harassing this king. And our king is fairly safe. All right, on to problem number 5. Rook has just dropped back, blocking this check. What do we want to do here? All right, material count. We have 7 pawns. Our opponent has 7 as well. We have 2 rooks and a queen, as does our opponent, but they have 2 extra bishops. So we need to get an attack in, do something in a hurry here. All right, well, hopefully you found this one. Take a look at it, pause the video if you need to think longer. If not, here we go. All right, if we look at checks first, we don't want to capture this or the king will just recapture our queen. We don't want to go here or the rook will just take us, or the king. We don't want to go here with the queen, but what if the rook did that? So we capture. The only thing that's possible, well, there is a block, so I guess I need to take a look at that. Oh, but if they block, okay, then we just capture the bishop here, delivering the check again. The king will have to run, and then we pick this off, delivering a mate. So most likely we'll have capture of the pawn, pawn captures, and now the queen captures, bishop blocks, and then queen delivers mate. So Here we go. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that little pattern there, and hopefully you did well on that puzzle. Feel free to leave comments. I enjoy hearing from viewers and subscribers. Also, like and subscribe to support the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and have a super chess day.